people who are ready and willing to talk about everything to do with dating, disability, sex, and also, unfortunately, online trolling as well. So we're gonna kind of get going, see how this goes, talking to everybody, and try and get a few different opinions and a bit of a debate going as well. Okay, so here we've got Sam, and you may recognise Sam from the Maltesers advert.
Hello.
So Sam, what's your experience of having been on TV? What's happened?
Gosh, so I kind of fell into acting. I always loved it as a child, and then I went to after school kind of clubs. And I remember there was an agent coming, and my teacher took me to one side and went, so like people like you, and like, you know, if you've got a different ethnicity, you're not going to get anywhere. And I was mortified. I was about 15, so I'm just going to like quit. So I'd done a very different route, became a school teacher, and then I was just like, you know what? I don't want to teach anymore, I don't really like kids. So
it's like most teachers.
It took me 2 years to realise that, have that epiphany. Moved down to London, and I kind of went to a house party, and it was a lot of TV people, and my now business partner, Max Barber, we got our production company together, Born This Way Media, and we decided to do a feature film. And I won a few awards in America. I got like Best Actress in the LA Film Festival.
Amazing.
And then I got an agent, and it's kind of just spiraled from there. I'm doing all sorts of little bits and pieces, but the acting, you know, it's a passion of mine. And since the Maltesers advert, I've become a bit of a household name. And I always say, at least it wasn't Badgersill. And I think it inspired a lot of people, and I've noticed a change in how people react to me, and which is what we aim to do, you know, and it's, you know, kind of put me on like the right path. It's given me a platform, even though I always go, like, did you do other things before this? But no one cares. It's like, it's a chocolate.
But you say how people react to you, but actually it's not always positive, is it?
No, unfortunately not. Do you know what, to my face, I get people, I can't even go to Tesco's like without having a selfie or something, which is lovely. I no longer get like sniggers because it's a girl in a wheelchair. People they're excited, and they're like, you know, they want to come up and get, I've had to sign an autograph and all sorts, it's just random. But unfortunately, the dark side is I get attacked quite a lot online. I mean, that's been quite a challenge, because, you know, I think everyone in this room, we don't see ourselves as being disabled, we're like, just us. And then when someone, I mean, I'm 31 now, I shouldn't really say that on camera. You know, I'm 31, and to start getting bullied again, and relentless bullying, and like, you know, when I got bullied at school, it wasn't even that malicious,
right?
You know, but the language and the abuse that comes out,
they go to your core,
people,
don't they?
Yeah. Do you read the messages? You do.
Yeah. For me, like, so for I get a lot of my work from Twitter, like to go on radio shows and things like that. So I cannot, because people just say, just delete it, get rid of it. And I can't afford to do that. It's my livelihood. I literally get a private message going, can you be on, you know, the radio show in like half an hour, and I'll, you know. So if I remove that, then they'll win even more. And it's awful because, you know, it just pop up. I remember the first time I got it, I was coming back from a lovely weekend in Weymouth with my family, sat on my train, like really happy, and then I thought, I was just getting into Twitter at that point, and I looked down, it was like, what, 20 notifications? I went, oh, what's happened? And I looked, and it was just, people tagged my name, saying, you make me physically sick, you freak show, you know, just vile, really, really disgusting things, and they tagged me in it.
How do you deal with that emotionally? Like, what do you say to yourself?
I mean, I nearly burst into tears, but I was on my own on a train for 2 hours.
That's my top cry time, by the way.
Yeah, was it?
Being on the train on my own,
schedule it in.
It's the best.
So, yes.
Under the toilet work.
Do you know what? I wanted to reply things straight away, but I think because I do work with children, and I try to practice what I preach. So what I did, I screenshot things, and then I sent them to a good friend of mine. So this has just happened to me, I feel really violated, I feel sick. But I sent it to her, then I reported all of them. But, you know, I don't even want to have it on my phone anymore. So I screenshot it, sent it to her, and deleted content, and then reported it. I don't think you should ever engage with people like this that's not worth. It's not worth your time, energy. Don't let them have the satisfaction, because that's what they want.
And you'll probably never say it to your face.
No, I've never had. I've never had one person come up to me.
And that's almost worse, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, I've been working with Katie Price recently, and obviously her son Harvey. We're trying to get Harvey's law passed, which is to make it a criminal offence to abuse online. But you know, these people, like, someone made a sex tape of Harvey, so, because he likes to say the word like, hey baby, and they morphed that onto like a pornography, like, and when they found the culprit, so every time, you know, he was doing stuff, it was going, hey babe, yeah, you know. But he was a grown man with 2 children, and you know, we're not talking about teenagers.
Yeah.
The taxi man over on the way who brought me here, he actually said to me, well, what are you doing today? I said, talking about, you know, online. But yeah, we'll just take kids' phones off. So I went, believe me, 90% is grown men and you know, women or people that should know better.
And Hannah, you're a YouTuber. You must have experience of this to some extent.
Yeah, I definitely I think just having an opinion and like being a woman online.
Heaven forbid.
Yeah, I know. it invites a lot of comment, and for me though, I tend to, within the first 24 hours of the video going up, I will like look at the comments, because usually it's like core audience people that like me and like know what I stand for and like get me. But then after that, like that comment section is kind of dead to me, because I'm just like, okay, bye, peace out. It's a weird one. And then on Twitter and stuff, I've become a big fan of that block button, because it's just kind of like out of sight, out of mind. The one thing though that I have started to get into the habit of doing is if something is like weird, like just really malicious and just like weird, and it's like sending off like alarm bells in my head, and that usually happens to my email, which I'm like is no longer public anymore. I'm just like, nope. Is I will like delete it, but I'll screenshot it, and I've got like a folder on my computer just in case anything escalates. So it's like having that evidence.
Really good thing to do.
Yeah, but that is really important, because the police are like getting better trained at online harassment and online bullying and all of these things. But the thing that we can do to help them is provide evidence. And so if you do find yourself in a situation where you're getting really harassed and really bullied, stalked online, like really extreme stuff, and you're going to the police, having screenshots, evidence
it's really
of all of that stuff.
That goes for any bullying, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know, keep a log, keep a journal.
Really. And Nima, you've been on First Dates, you've had a video on BBC all around kind of disability and dating in your culture as well. Do you have any experience of this, or are you kind of just getting into that field and hopefully never going to experience it?
I think I'm kind of just dipping my toe into the limelight, and I have had, in the beginning I had nothing but positive comments come from First Dates. Everybody was so supportive and, you know, kind and loving. And then, as you say, as time goes on, after you've got the initial kind of love outpour, then you get the trolling, and I've had people tell me I should kill myself, that I've got no chance of ever finding anybody, that just all sorts of things. You know, I'm not even going to give it the platform to repeat them, but unfortunately the internet has given cowards this platform, whereas before, if you wanted to bully someone, you've got to get up in their face and say it to their face. But we've given keyboard warriors complete access to whatever they want to say, and unfortunately it's up to us to be strong enough in ourselves to be able to cope with it.
And on a more positive side of that, how was First Dates?
First Dates was the best experience.
It's Jen and my favourite show.
I had the best time, and it was so good for me to just come out of my shell a little bit and put myself on screen as what I am and who I am, and to try and not be so hung up about it. And I had a wicked time. We had a great day. We got completely smashed.
I want to watch it. What episode is
It's
it?
season 5, episode 1.
There we go.
There we go!
And I took him to bingo, and he met all my my friends at bingo, all the lovely grandmas. So yeah, he's a really lovely guy.
Oh, that's so great. Are you still in touch?
Yeah, we go for dog walks with his dog, because his dog's a big part of his life. He's a vet. So yeah, we go for dog walks.
I just want to say that the reason I love that show is because they don't, you know, they make so much effort to match people properly, and that's the beautiful thing. It's not car crash telly, is it?
No, not at all.
And you really, people,
they're
all, you know, and they're really vulnerable when they go on that show, and I think that's why it's caught the hearts of everybody. You know, I was saying, wasn't I sometimes I'm in the shower, I practice my first dates interview. Anyway, and then actually kind of like probably they tried to fill out the application, didn't they, to put me on first dates, and then I met my boyfriend on Tinder, and I was a bit like, oh, I really want to do that first dates thing. I practiced it and everything, but I love the fact you went on that, and it's been positive.
It was positive. And then out of that, I don't know if you know WizKids, they're so I'm doing a confidence building program with them now.
Oh,
like young girls in wheelchairs, trying to get them to get
that's
comfortable with
fantastic.
in their skin and stuff. Yeah.
So what hints and tips do you give those girls? That's, I guess, a really good moving on to kind of the more dating, confidence, disclosure type question.
I think this all just comes with age and experience. You have to go through a lot of crap to finally come out the other end and be like, do you know what, I'm going to shrug it off. I'm not bothered. Like, it all comes from confidence in yourself and in your own skin and whatever guise that might be in. We've all just got to be okay with ourselves before we can pass on that knowledge to anybody else, I think.
And
it's,
Hannah,
it's a never-ending road.
It's true. It's true. And Hannah, in your Doing It book, you talk a lot about communication and the importance of it with sex. Would you say that was your main thing?
Yeah, I will always. Anytime anyone comes to me for advice and stuff, like usually the first thing I say is just like talk about it. They're like, oh, there's this thing and I'm really scared, and I'm like, talk, just communicate. It is easier said than done because it is like kind of about that vulnerability. Of kind of opening yourself up, but the way that I think about it is kind of to make yourself less scared about that kind of thing is you can't control the other person. Right. You cannot control their reaction to whatever it is you're going to say. So all you can do is just like really know yourself and say what it is that you feel or you think, and give them the space to react and like show them love as well.
Definitely.
It's quite hard to set that though, isn't it? I mean, the chat, the reason that Enhance was set up all those years ago in the first place is because when it comes to, particularly around disability, people don't talk about disability and sex. And I remember having an argument with an MP quite a few years ago saying that I was being inappropriate, talking about campaigning around sex. And I turned around and said to him, imagine not ever being able to masturbate again, never actually being able to pleasure yourself sexually again. And I said, I think it was around an hors d'oeuvre I was having at the time. I went, I'm going to leave you with that thought because I was so bloody angry. And I walked off and mumbled something. And about a few hours later, to be fair on him, he did actually come back to me and say, I have actually thought about what you said.
Wow.
And I can't imagine my life being the quality that it is not being able to have any sexual pleasure. And I said, well, that's the point, isn't it? So it's very, I think it's, people, it's easy to say be confident, but it does take a lot. I mean, you're a lawyer, you're an intelligent, woman, so you're confident in so many ways. But personally, when it comes to actually exposing yourself to the opposite sex or the same sex or whatever sexuality is, that's a really different thing, isn't it? And it's about having those role models on, on television and the media, whatever, like you talking about it, go, I can actually talk about this. This is like seeing on TV, going.
And even being here and talking to everybody has made me feel so much better in like 10 minutes about.
I'm serious because
the enhanced way.
Because you got your sexy
hair. Say what I found, because again, confident, I don't want to do crazy things, talk in front of hundreds of people, and I've always been quite shy when it comes to dating, and I've always had it in my head for a long time. They don't want to date me because I'm disabled. And since moving to London, and I've got some amazing, powerful, bitchy kind of, strong women, no disability whatsoever. We are all in the same boat.
Right, exactly that.
And I'm just like, well, maybe it isn't because I'm disabled. Actually, I'm so fussy. That's what it is.
So I think the main problem is that everybody is disposable now. We live in a society where if you don't like something, you just dump it and buy a new one.
Yeah.
If you don't like the look of somebody, you can just swipe past and there's 100 more people queued up that you can talk to.
Yeah.
So it's not about having a disability, it's about just living in this society
Waste society.
Yeah, exactly that.
Throwaway
It's
society
now, and that's horrible.
I'm a bit ashamed to say I watched a bit of Love Island last
Oh, I
night.
love Love Island.
Say it again.
And it was so funny, the conversations, because one, I must be really old because I didn't fancy any of them, and but two, but they were the conversations they were going, well, I kind of like you, but I'm going to wait to see who else comes through the door.
Exactly.
And it's that mentality of life, isn't it? It's like, I kind of like you, but I'm going to have 5 other conversations going at the
You get a
same
new
time.
phone, there's another one out there.
Yeah.
To me, it seems like love and dating relationships, you can apply choice theory to that. So apparently 3 is like the best number of choices that you can have for something, and that if you, whichever one you choose of it, you'll walk away and you'll like feel happy and you'll be like, I'm really happy and content with the choice that I made. Whereas now, like, think about it, supermarket, which shampoo do you want?
300.
Yeah, and so when you have to pick between like 300, whichever one you pick, you'll always be like, but I would be happier if I had a different one.
Always have buyer's remorse.
And that is Yeah, exactly, and that's kind of what's happening with dating, is that you might be dating someone and then you'll be like, but what about those other 300 people that I could potentially meet that are like a phone swipe
like
away? So are they better?
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you so much, you beautiful women, for getting involved with this. And we've also got individual videos with each of these amazing ladies as well. So make sure that you watch those, and we will speak to you soon. Bye.